So those of you that follow me on Twitter might have seen over the last week I had a bit of a go at EA and DICE over dropping the ball with Battlefield 2042. Apparently 343 must have seen that and went, hold on, wait a minute, please stop ridiculing them, please direct your attention to us, we would like to be humiliated. So for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, on the 1st of September 343 shared their latest development map for the upcoming content that's planned for Halo Infinite. And let's just say I don't think I'm going out on too much of a limb here when I say that it was not well received. The biggest part of this announcement was the delay of Season 3 of the Halo Infinite multiplayer from November until March 2023. This was particularly frustrating because the Halo Infinite player base has been long complaining about the lack of ongoing content and 343's general failure to live up to the live service promise of the game. So this further delay is just the latest nail in the coffin, I guess you could say. The second part of this announcement that was not well received was 343 confirming that they were cancelling development of a split-screen campaign co-op feature that had been promised since the game's announcement. They are apparently still planning on adding online co-op, but it's just the split screen that has been cancelled. So I guess in summary, not only is there no new content for the game coming for an extra while, we're also cancelling features that were promised when the game was announced and that people have been waiting on for a long time. 343, what the fuck are you doing? What are you playing at? Just, First and foremost, let's not forget that this game was actually delayed by a full year. It was supposed to come out in holiday 2020 and it was delayed to December 2021, literally until the last possible moment they could get away with releasing it. What fucking state was this game going to be in if they actually launched it in 2020? It launched with fucking half the features that it was supposed to. It's had sparse updates since then. What is going on? With some degree of fairness to them, every live service game goes through a period where players are complaining there's kind of not enough to do in them. Destiny did it. It's happened in Warzone multiple times. The issue with Halo is it's been this way from the start. They've just never really had a grasp on what it takes to keep players engaged in a multiplayer environment, you know, medium to long term. And I fundamentally don't understand why it's taking them so long to like shit out some new maps or some new skins or whatever. Like, it's not that fucking difficult. Give players some extra boxes to tick every couple of months and release some new skins and a couple of new maps. It's not that fucking hard. And I think the particularly frustrating thing in this instance is this was Halo's time. They had it. The game came out, and despite the missing features and all the rest of it, people went nuts for the multiplayer. People loved it. Your guys who, on your big streamers on Twitch who would normally stream like Warzone and Fortnite and stuff like that, they were all hooked on Halo for, you know, a week, whatever, a few days after it came out. The multiplayer was good. People loved the way it felt. And this also came in a year where the Call of Duty that came out was fucking shit. As I talked about at the start, EA completely shat the bed with Battlefield. There was no, like, Halo had an open goal and they completely fucked it. And now, with this Season 3, their next like meaningful update not coming out until the start of next year, by the time that comes around, the next Call of Duty will be out. It's Modern Warfare 2. There's going to be a new Warzone. Nobody is going to give one single shit about Halo by the time that comes around. It will be gone. Completely just fucking forgotten about. To be perfectly honest, they'd be as well just not doing Season 3, just going, nah, we're not fucking doing it, because it's a waste of time. I guess on a more slightly serious note, let's take a look at why we think this might have happened genuinely. So I recalled the rumours about this kind of at the time, but I had to do a bit of research to try and refresh my memory, and it comes from tweets from Jason Schreier about 9 months ago, as of the time of recording. It's part of a thread where he kind of talks about Halo Infinite. He mentions that one of its biggest development problems was labour, specifically that a large chunk of 343's workers were on contracts and couldn't stay employed there for longer than 18 months due to Microsoft policy, basically. Full-time promotions were apparently rare, so the studio was constantly losing talent and knowledge. There was just a ridiculous turnaround of staff. Basically, they were using contract workers rather than full-time employees of the studio, because that's what Microsoft kind of makes them do. And I think Jason goes on to kind of talk about this a little bit, where this probably stems out of Microsoft being sued over the basis of them employing people in the past. So they kind of use this contract 18-month limit to avoid being sued again. So looking back at the timeline, I can see that Halo Infinite was first announced at E3 in 2018, and then it ultimately released in December 2021. Must have been in development before 2018 to be announced then. So you're probably talking at least 4 or 5 years development time, where every 18 months or so, you're basically losing the overwhelming majority of your staff and having to hire new people. What business in any industry can function on that basis? Like, I work in insurance. I've worked in insurance my whole career. I handle and investigate claims. Imagine what a shit show that industry would be if every person who handled claims had to leave their job after 18 months and completely new people were hired in again to pick up all their files and all the things they were working on. It's just nonsense. It's just, what? I mean, it's no wonder they can't get any fucking content out if the guy who was making something at one point fucking has to leave because his contract's up, and then someone else comes in and goes, no, I don't quite fancy doing that. I think we'll do something else. It's so bizarre. And finally, I guess, what does this mean for Halo going forward? I'm almost sorry to say it, but something drastic needs to change. I am reluctant to entirely blame 343 because it's Microsoft that mandates that they have to use contract workers, and they can only engage those workers for 18 months. So I think one of two things really has to happen. Either Microsoft give 343 another chance and actually let them fucking take on their own team, hire their own employees, take it seriously, or Microsoft need to give it to someone else, basically, because this current setup just isn't working. The interesting sort of tinfoil hat theory that I've seen, and I don't think this will ever actually happen, but it would be really interesting if the Activision Blizzard acquisition goes through and Microsoft end up giving Halo to like Infinity Ward or Treyarch or something like that. So you've got a Call of Duty developer making a Halo game. I don't think that's going to happen, just purely because Call of Duty makes too much money and takes enough work to actually keep running as it is. So I don't think that's going to happen, but it would be an interesting proposition. So that's it. Yeah, overall, I think Halo Infinite will go down as one of those games in the sort of great pantheon that really fucking missed its chance. It should have been really, really special, and people will probably eventually have fond memories of, but it never reached the heights that it actually should have had they delayed it even further and had a concrete plan in place for regular updates to keep players engaged. Yeah, it's a shame.